What is up, everyone? So, I got a pretty good video for you guys today. I want to talk about the 5 sources of income you need if you want to get rich. Right now, nowadays, we all know how expensive everything is, right? Like, having a normal job just doesn't cut it anymore. Like, I don't know how people are living off of just their normal one single paycheck with no other income. And I'm genuinely asking because it's expensive to live nowadays, man. It's really expensive. Food, rent, utilities, clothes, gas. God forbid you go out and grab a drink or something to eat with your friends every once in a while. Like I can't even walk out of my place without spending like $100. It's actually insane. So nowadays I feel like now more than ever it's so important to have multiple sources of income. And I also will say that I think right now is the easiest time to have multiple sources of income. So while right now it's basically mandatory to have multiple sources of income, which kind of sucks, it is easier than it's ever been to have multiple sources. And I'm going to talk about the 5 sources of income that I think everyone should have, and I think they're pretty reasonable to obtain actually, with the exception of one. There is one that's rather difficult, I'd say. Yeah, I would say it's difficult to actually have income from. I still think it's important to try it, and if you do start to earn income from this source, and this is going to be the last one that I mention, that'll really catapult your life forward, financially speaking. But without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. So, number one, the first source of income that you need to have is your normal, your 9 to 5, your day job, right? We all love getting up on Monday morning after a nice weekend and going sitting in the office, or maybe getting on the truck, or I don't know, going into the hospital, or whatever your job is, your normal job that you work for your paycheck so that you can live and pay your bills and do all that fun stuff, right? So again, this is just the normal stuff. Whether you're a teacher, maybe you're a police officer, maybe you work in an office, you work in the HR department, you're an accountant, any job, your normal job. This is the sort of foundation of your income, right? Without this, it's pretty difficult to get your bills paid. So this is number one. Most people have a job. If not, people lose jobs all the time. It happens, unfortunately, but ultimately, hopefully, you get back on your feet and you find something, and you're earning some, an income, whether that's a weekly paycheck or biweekly, or maybe you're paid on the 15th and the last day of the month, whatever it is. So that's number one. Number two is a side hustle. Now, let me elaborate on this a little bit. When I say a side hustle, it can mean a couple different things. So it could be a job that you work a couple nights during the week. Maybe you wait tables, or maybe you work on the weekends and you deliver food, or you are doing some manual labor. Maybe you cut lawns on the weekends, or back in college, I used to work for a moving company. So after I was done, I was still doing odd jobs, or excuse me, like one-off jobs on weekends doing the moving company if they needed some help. So any sort of side hustle, just you're still putting in work, but it's something you're doing outside of your normal day job hours. So again, this could be at a few nights during the week, it could be on the weekends, it could be both. But it's literally any extra side job you're working to just earn some extra income. So that's number two, right? These are the two, probably the two most important and the two easiest, in my opinion, forms of income to have. Because again, hopefully you have a normal day job. And I genuinely believe anyone could go out and get a second job, like a side hustle for, nights during the week, or of course on the weekends. Like you'll find something, even if it's in retail. Like go work at a retail store a couple nights during the week, and like one weekend day, they'll hire you. Like they need the help. So that's number two. Number three is actually going to be interest. So what I mean by this is, if you have some money set aside and you put it in your normal bank account, your checking account, you're earning nothing on that. Like the bank isn't giving you anything. But if you open up a high yield savings account online, you can actually earn some extra money every month. I have a high yield savings account, and I earn a couple $100 every month just from having my money in that account. Now, a couple $100 isn't going to change my life, right? But it takes care of a couple things, right? Maybe it takes care of my electric bill or my utilities bills, or it takes care of my car insurance, or maybe that's the money that I use to go out and hang out with friends. Like, does anyone not, if I offered you an extra $200 a month, are you going to take it? That's that's what I thought. So interest is another form of income that is pretty easy to have. It's just a matter of having enough money to earn some interest and then putting it in the correct place. So if you have the ability to do this, save some money, put it into a high yield savings account, and you can start to earn some interest every month. It's just nice to have a little extra money coming in from your savings account every month. Like, why not, right? And a good way to kind of pair this with the side hustle income is, if you weren't working a side hustle before listening to this right now, go get a side hustle, make a couple $100 every week, working on the weekends. So we're talking maybe $800 to $1,000 a month extra you're bringing in. Put all that money in a savings account. At the end of the year, you'll have 12 grand in a savings account, and it'll pay you some interest. So that's one way you can kind of piggyback the side hustle with the interest is taking that extra money you're making from your side hustle and then putting it into a savings account, which will ultimately pay you interest. So now you have another source of income as well. So that's number 3. Number 4 is similar to interest, but slightly different. And that is going to be dividend income. So if you don't know what dividends are, it's basically when you invest in stocks, right? You invest in the stock market and you invest in companies that pay dividends. So basically what that looks like is you invest your money in a company, and in return, that company pays you a little bit of money, normally every 3 months, just for simply investing in the company. Now, when you're doing this with a small amount of money, it's not going to be that much. But if you have a good amount of money invested, you could really pull in some good change, a nice chunk of change every 3 months. So this one takes time, and again, you can piggyback this with the side hustle money. If instead of putting the money in a savings account, you want to invest it in dividend stocks or dividend ETFs, you can do that as well. But this right here, dividend income, man, this is truly passive income. Like, once you invest this money into these stocks or these ETFs and they're paying you dividends, you literally just sit back and collect money. It's awesome. Like, I'm a huge fan of dividend investing because it literally requires next to no work. You just have to have money and invest it, and then it handles everything else. It's awesome. So if you don't know about dividend investing, definitely look into that. I can post some videos about that, like more in depth. So if you want me to, be sure to comment down below, and I'll be sure to make a video about that. So that's number 4. Number 5, and this is the one that's really going to catapult you forward when it comes to your personal finances, but it's also going to require the most amount of work, and that's building a business, right? We all have dreams of being an entrepreneur and having a business that pays for our lifestyle, and we don't answer to anyone except ourselves. And it sounds amazing, but it takes a lot of work. But the way I look at it is, it's worth the work, because having the ability to make your own schedule and do as you please and come and go as you please and not have to answer to anyone else, and being able to take off whenever you want, like, that's basically priceless in my opinion. Like, just the thought of not having to answer and report to a boss every week is just like, it's incredible. That alone just motivates me to want to build my own business. And that's what I'm trying to do with this YouTube stuff, is just build something for myself so I can escape that rat race that we're all unfortunately sucked into. So that's the 5th and final one, and definitely the most difficult. But once you start making money from your own business, man, like, life can get a lot better. But you got to be willing to put the work in. That's for sure. So yeah, that's all the sources of income that I wanted to talk about. If you can have a 9 to 5 income and a side hustle income, have some interest coming in from a savings account, have dividends coming in, and then also have money coming in from your business, even if none of them are paying you like a massive amount of money, just 5 smaller sources of income, or one normal one, right, with your 9 to 5, and then 4 other sort of smaller sources of income, that can make a big difference in your budget every month. Like, that can help you pay down debt quickly. It can help you invest more. It can help give you freedom to kind of make some decisions that you wouldn't have been able to do if you didn't have those incomes. Gives you money to put aside. Maybe if you like to travel, you could put money aside for vacation. So a lot of opportunities and a lot of doors open up if you have multiple sources of income. And I'll leave it at this. This is a really important thing about having multiple sources of income is what if you lose your job, right? What if you get fired or they're laying people off for downsizing or maybe the company closes, whatever the case may be. What if you lose your job? If you don't have all these other sources of income, you have no money coming in. So at least if you have some money coming in elsewhere, maybe you can at least get your rent paid, or you don't have to tap into your savings as much. You don't have to put expenses on credit cards because you still have some sort of money coming in. And that's another reason why I like having multiple sources of income, is because it gives me sort of a comfort knowing that if I lost my job, I still have some money coming in that I can kind of work with while I'm trying to find something else. So that's it. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. As I mentioned, nowadays it's basically required to have multiple sources of income. You just can't get by with just a normal paycheck. So definitely get on your grind. Make sure you got these incomes coming in at the bare minimum. Make sure you have your normal job and a side hustle, and you can start to build out those other ones. It's going to take time, but it'll be worth it in the long run. So I appreciate you guys stopping by and listening to me today. If you're new here, I post content all about like personal finance, personal experiences, kind of motivational stuff, investing, just anything I really feel like talking about. I post videos about it, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to tune in, and I got plenty more videos coming for you guys. I appreciate you clocking in with me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.